Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, at long last, I'm going to attempt to do this mini-series that I've been talking about since back in October, or maybe it was even far back as September. The mini-series that involves 6 progressive rock bands. So, the title of this series, not 100% yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be something like this: 6 progressive rock bands that should have been better or should have had more success than they had. Now, we all on the Prog universe here on YouTube all know how great these bands are, but the vast majority of people out there, the general population, the people that listen to rock occasionally, maybe listen to the radio station, go to the odd concert, consider themselves huge fans, but only know one song by any particular band. Those people don't know about these bands. And that's not anything against them. These bands have never been really promoted particularly well, and their music is not really commercial for the most part. So when something isn't commercial, it doesn't get a lot of radio play or a lot of recognition, and that thus far people don't get to see it. So I don't blame the general population for not knowing about these bands. If you're not deep into prog, you might not ever hear of any of them. But they are still great bands. All of them, in my estimation, my humble estimation, are bands that are as big to me as Yes, Genesis, Rush, Pink Floyd, those E.L.P. These are all bands that had great success out there, and most people know about them. These bands are just as good, but just didn't have that success. So that's basically what we're going to be here talking about them. And I just wanted to give them their due, because I think, a lot of these other bands recognized that they were good as well. But you can't all have the great commercial success in life. Some people have to just go on their craft and their musical expertise that just isn't for the vast majority of the mainstream population. So having said all that, I've picked 6 of them out. I had probably 16 to 18 originally. I broke it down to 12, and then I just picked the 6 that I think that I like the best, I think I know the most about, and I'm the most familiar with. So that is the reason for these 6. All 6 of them definitely deserve to be here. Probably could have done 7 or 8, but 6 is a good number for me. I think these 6 I'm happy with, and I'm hoping that you will enjoy this series. So having said all that, we're now going to get underway with it. So I have about 7 categories of stuff that I'm going to mention about the groups. There will be in the list, in the description list, all of the topics I'm going to cover under each group. But I will try to, at least for the first episode, I will try to remember to tell you what topic I'm talking about at this particular time. So the first of all, the first group that we're going to be talking about is a band I love. And by the way, I did not choose these bands in any particular order. This is not a ranking. This is not I love this band more than that band. None of that. It's not even alphabetically. I like dice, and I use the dice roll. I set them all up for all 6 episodes using the dice roll. So this band came out first because it got the number 1. So that's what I had. I had a 6-sided dice. Whoever rolled 1 got to go first. Whoever rolled 2 got to roll second. That's pretty much how it worked. It wasn't any more complicated than that. So the first band to be done on this series will be this band, Gentle Giant. Sorry, they always have their albums a little weird. This is a band that I think is pretty well loved here on the YouTube community here on the prog community here on YouTube. Sorry, I wanted to get that right. Definitely one of my favorite bands. This is a band that I didn't discover here on YouTube. I did have an album of theirs that I started out with. I just didn't warm up to it right away. This is a band, like most of these bands, take a little bit of listening to kind of acquire a taste for, which is the title of this album, Acquiring the Taste, right? So, yes. So, love them now. Even the album that I originally bought, Three Friends, I had a great deal of difficulty absorbing that album. But I've now, because I started really liking them with Acquiring the Taste, and it's just mushroomed. And now I even actually like Three Friends now. I'm starting to listen to it differently and realizing that it's actually quite brilliant. So anyways, let's get underway with the topic. So the first topic was, when did they make their first album? Well, their first album was actually this one, came out in 1970. Before that, several of the members of the band, the Showman Brothers, were all members of a band called Simon Dupuis. But I'm not giving a history lesson here, so I'm just making a note of that. This is just about the band itself. So yeah, this album came out in 1970, was their first album. They have the number of albums that they have, which is the second category, number of albums that they have that are considered to be top shelf albums, I think fall in the 6th category. I think there's 6 of them. These aren't necessarily my favorite ones, but I think these 6 albums are all what I would consider to be good albums, and I think are generally viewed in that light on the YouTube community here. I would say this one, their debut album, Acquiring the Taste, which is this one. They've got some strange album covers. Some of their album covers are repetitive. Three Friends. The only difference between this one and I can tell and the first one is the word Three Friends, and the fact that this guy's a blonde as opposed to a brunette or a redhead, because this guy's a redhead for sure. The next one is Octopus. I don't have the great cover for it, but I still like this album, so this is something that's new for me recently too. The other two I don't believe I have. Maybe I do. Not sure. Let me see if I made a note about it. Yeah, the other two, in a glass house, I don't own that, but it definitely on my list. I've heard it many times. I've been wanting to get it, just haven't gotten around. And last one here, can I read it? Nope, I cannot read it, but it doesn't matter. They've got basically six albums. Their first 6, I believe, are all top shelf albums. Everybody, I think, for the most part, likes these albums. Some of their other ones, like Interview and Freehand, and I think this one is actually the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I did have it. Power and the Glory, another one of the top first 6 ones. Yeah, so those albums are all pretty good too. They only have a couple towards the end of their discography, Missing Piece and Giant for a Day, that some people don't like and some people actually can't stand. But overall, I think that's the 6 that I think belong on this list. Their Magnus opus is probably this one. I would say this is the one that most people figure is their best album, Octopus. Some people do like In Glass House. Some people like Three Friends. I personally like Acquiring the Taste, but yeah. So, but I think for the vast majority of people, Octopus is the one. They've got, and the number of members they've had in their history is 8. They've only had 8 members, the Showman Brothers plus Kerry Manier, Gary Green, and a host of drummers, Michael Mortimer and John Weathers, and geez, I can never remember that first guy's name. I did make a note, so let me just write it. Let's see if I can find it here. It always helps if you put your glasses on. I squint, and then I think, oh, maybe I should put my glasses on. Oh yeah, Martin Smith. He was the other one. Malcolm Mortimer, and I said Michael, but it was Malcolm. I knew it wasn't Michael when I said it. Anyways, those are the 8 members they've had. I'm only going to list the members for the bands that didn't have that many, because some of these bands, numbers of people that played in this band are extraordinary. What are they most noted for? So what is Gentle Giant most noted for? I think it's their multi-instrumental abilities. Like between the 5 or 6 guys in the band, they play like 60, 65, 66 different instruments. They're most noted for that. They're also their complex musical arrangements. I think they're noted for that. I think their music is very unusual and it's varied across multiple genres. They've got a little bit of jazz in there. There's some rock. There's some almost classical parts to their music as well. Of course, lots of prog. And yeah, just really complex musically. And the other thing that I personally think that they should be noted for, if they're not, I'm not sure why they wouldn't be, is their harmony vocals. They are really good at putting these harmony vocals together. This is something that I've seen in Yes, a similar style to Yes, I think, with those harmony vocals. And so those are the things I think that the group is most known for. My favorite track, of course, is Wrecked. I like Wrecked a lot. It's on the Acquiring the Taste album. There's a couple of other ones, such as Funny Girl, very funny things, Funny Ways. That's the one I'm thinking of. I like that track a lot too. But there's a lot of different songs with them that I like. Cat Food. Oh, sorry, wrong group. Yeah, lots of different variety in their music, but it all is really complex. That's the part I like about it, is that the way in which they make their intricate kind of musical ensembles, I guess, together. But they're so intricate, but they're so well weaved together, and they come out like it's an incredible sound. Often I find. So, and then they kind of, I guess, we'll finish off by talking a little bit about what they're doing now. So, basically, they stopped making albums in 1980, so they had a 10-year window. They decided to disband at that point, or at least Derek decided that they were going to disband at that point. I'm not picking on Derek, but some of the other members, I think, would have liked to have gone on making the kind of stuff that they've been making all those years, but I guess some people felt that if they weren't going to be commercially successful, they weren't going to be successful. That's not necessarily true. I think, for myself personally, I think Gentle Giant has made some of the best progressive rock out there. They've been very successful at making that music, and just because they didn't have the commercial breakthrough that so many other bands have doesn't make their music any less to me. I wish they'd continued. I could foresee another 10 years of such fantastic stuff as Octopus, and but unfortunately that wasn't to be. I guess in the world of rock music, if you're not making money, you're not going to be around too long. Although some bands have stuck around, I don't care. They're just going to keep going, you know. Anyway, so that's the first band that we're doing today, Gentle Giant, one of the greats. Definitely deserve to be among the elite progressive rock bands of all time, and so I'm mentioning them here today for that. I hope you've enjoyed this first episode. This episode, of course, will be a little bit longer because of the explanations, and I'm also new to it. I've been putting this together for 7 months, although it didn't take me that long to put it together, but I had to get time aside to do each of them, right? So it takes a while to get the time in order to do the work. The work itself didn't take that long, but it just takes a little bit of time when you don't have that time to get there. Anyways, this will be the first of the episodes, so it'll be a little bit longer. I hope you've liked this. I hope you enjoy the rest of the series. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And if you have any comments about Gentle Giant, by all means, put those in the comment section below. I love Gentle Giant. I hope you love them as much as I do. So take care, and we will see you with episode 2 tomorrow. Take care. Bye.